Hey everybody, let me mute my TV here. I'm watching on my television here a guy I follow named Reese Waters, and the reason I started following him is because his channel is called this is where he comes into his video. I am I'm Reese Waters and I am troubled. Play on there with troubled waters. But anyway, I'm doing this video. I haven't done my opinion response to the president's speech to the joint session of Congress. Technically, it wasn't a State of the Union, but of course, I know a lot of people didn't watch it, but I made the decision to go ahead and watch it so I can hear with my own ears what was going on and witness the debacle of his speech, which it was, in my opinion. Just the amount of lies that were coming out of his mouth, which I'm used to by now, and I know a lot of us are used to. But that's going to be in another video once I get everything done that I want to talk about. Okay? But this video is about spotlighting three MAGA congressional people about what they praying to Trump. So let's get into it. And you may have heard of these three people, what they've done through the news. So we'll start with Brandon Gill. Brandon Gill is a House representative from the 26th Congressional District. The reason I'm spotlighting him is because, let me scroll down. And of course, he puts a picture on here with his family and Mike Johnson, the House Speaker. But go to the right side. This is what Representative Gill did 2 days ago. He introduced a Golden Age Act honoring President Trump to be on the $100 bill. Yes, the $100 bill. So let's open it. There we go. So, Congressman Brandon Gill, Texas 26, today introduced his third bill of the 119th Congress, the Golden Age Act of 2025. This legislation would require that all $100 bills feature a picture of Donald J. Trump on the front face of the note. Yes. Now, currently, Benjamin Franklin is currently the face of the $100 bill, and that was done in 1914, I believe. He was put on the bill because of what he did as a statesman, a scientist, as well as a writer. Now compare that to Donald Trump, a 34 convicted felon, an indicted rapist, pardoned 1,500 of the people who did the insurrection. Put his thumb on Romania and brought Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate back to the United States because they were about to be on trial for multiple rapists. And the women who were going against them in Romania asked the United States to stop getting into Romania's trials and information. Yes. And of course, I'll remind you that President Trump said that illegal immigration was bringing rapists, murders, and so on and so on and so on. then why are you bringing rapists back to the United States? And they want this person, and I'll go back to it, they want this person to be on the $100 bill. Now, you're probably scratching your head and say, how can this happen? Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because I want to educate everybody like I'm educating myself. So, actually, that's the wrong one. Actually, that's the wrong one. So, in order for anyone to be on, in order for anyone to be on the $100 bill, here, I've got it for you. To get someone picture on the $100 bill, the U.S. Department of Treasury, specifically the Secretary of Treasury, must decide to honor that person by placing their portrait on the currency. Currently, the $100 bill features a picture of Benjamin Franklin, chosen for his significant contributions to the United States as a statesman, scientist, and entrepreneur. Only the United States government, through the Department of Treasury, can decide who appears on the currency. Historical significance. Typically, individuals chosen for currency on historical figures with significant contributions to the country. And so, like I said, Brandon Gill created a bill to honor Trump to be on the $100 bill. Now, if the Secretary of Treasury agrees with that, because this doesn't have to be a bill, it doesn't have to be in law. If the Secretary of Treasury decides to do this, there's nothing that we can stop it other than not using $100 bills. Right. And then we have to change it. We have to change it because, the acronym is about the Benjamins. And I didn't know that. A lot of times I say, oh, the $100 bills, it's about the Benjamins. Well, I guess it's about the Trumps. So it doesn't even sound right. I mean, Benjamin was Franklin's first name, so it still doesn't make sense. It's about the Donalds. It's about the Donalds. So, yeah. So, from the 26th District of Texas, this is who you voted for. This is who you voted for, and this is what he's doing. Not talking about grocery prices, not talking about inflation, not pushing back on tariffs that were going to raise prices and all that, not pushing back on your representative who agrees with President Trump, who agrees with dictator, actually, let me go back, who agrees with the lying, murderous dictator Putin, and is putting his foot up our allies' butts. Yes. So Brandon Gill is a MAGA fascist who supports the president and does not support American citizens. I've shown you the receipts. So let's move on. So the next spotlight is going to be, I don't know why the government's websites, every time you click on it, it refreshes. So the spotlight there we go. If I can get that, there we go. So the next spotlight, and I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name, is going to be Darrell Issa, ISSA. And my software, my recording software, just there we go, just froze up on me. So that's Darrell Issa. So Darrell Issa is a House representative as well, serving the 48th District of California. A Republican. But let me show you what he decided to do. Yes, right here in the middle. House Rep Darrell Issa yesterday has decided to nominate President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Yes. So Representative Darrell Issa said on Monday he is nominating President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. From the time of his election and after being sworn in, President Trump has inspired and promoted the cause of peace, and in a way we have not heard in many years. Yes, I read it to you as he wrote it for his nomination, and yes, he is saying that President Trump should get the Nobel Peace Prize because since he won the election, since his election and swearing in as the 47th president, he has, quote, inspired and promoted the cause of peace and in a way that we have not heard in many years, unquote. I don't know which President Trump he's talking about, but the current President Trump has not done anything about peace that I've seen or heard. And of course, I have receipts for you. He has put tariffs on our major allies, Canada and Mexico, and they have done nothing to be kicked in their asses. They haven't. Now, it is true, the issue about the tariffs, particularly Mexico, is about illegal border crossings. Now, I will agree. There is an immigration problem. There is. I've always said that. Based on my background in finance, working with companies, working with legal immigrants, because they educated me. One of my best friends 20 years ago in the company that we work with, he was born in Laos. His mother was born in, at the time, South Vietnam, and his father was born in Thailand. Mother and father got married, and then he was born. And this is the effed up thing about legal immigration. Every country has a dollar sign attached to them. And then that's just the amount of money they have to pay to immigrate. So once they got into the country and then started the process to become citizens, my coworker got his citizenship before his parents did, because it's based on the country that they were born in. So he got his first, then his dad got his citizenship, and then I think after his dad, 5 years later, his mom finally got her citizenship. Yes. And so if I remember right, when he talked about the money, I mean, he was embarrassed to say it, to talk about it. So we were outside. because he knew that I wasn't just joking about it. I really was shocked about that, and he was educating me. Those three people who immigrated and took them a total of 20 years to get their U.S. citizenship paid just under $100,000 to immigrate and get their U.S. citizenship in this country. So here's where I was. Before, if you're going to kick all these undocumented people out of the country for coming to this country illegally, because technically, if you cross the border and you don't come through the right entrances, you are breaking the law. You are. But it's not like you're shooting somebody. So at the time, this was my thought process. All right, fine. Round them all up. Whatever number it is. 12 million of them. Round them up and get them out. But before you do that, if you're going to keep them and give them a path for citizenship in the United States, every single immigrant who did everything the right way, I want you to give them their money back. Because you're not going to make them pay, but you made them pay. So give them the money back. But of course, that's too easy. That's too easy. And it took me some time to understand that was not feasible. It's not. Not to mention the fact that, number one, nobody is showing me a roll that there actually were, at the time, 12 million people in this country who were here illegally. I didn't see that. And then on top of that, how are you going to kick out, based on the 14th Amendment, children who were born in this country, which means that they were automatically U.S. citizens? And then there was the thing about people were coming here to have their babies born in the United States. And then a name came on for calling those babies anchor babies, meaning that the mother or the father or both could not be kicked out, because the child would have been kicked out. The child would have been kicked out illegally because the child was a U.S. citizen. But the problem was that child could not sponsor his parents to be here because he or she was not 18 years old. So you see what I'm going with this. Our immigration policy and process is effed up. It is. So fast forward to last year, before the election, there was a bipartisan immigration bill. Both houses, the House of Representatives and the Senate, were ready to send it to Biden's desk, and that would have been done and cemented, including money for the southern border to stop the flow of illegal immigrants into this country. Done. But of course, we were in an election cycle. And I'll remind you that at the time, Republican nominee Donald Trump reached out to House Speaker Mike Johnson, who actually helped create the bill, reached out to him and told him to have Republicans kill it. Why? So that could be an election issue for the Republican side. It was there to be done, and he, the current president, killed it. He killed it. Now he wants an immigration resolution. This is the man that Darrell Issa wants to nominate for the Nobel Peace Prize. So let's look at the criteria let's look at the criteria of how someone can be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. And my page is refreshing. There we go. So to be eligible for the, actually, I want to just let you say it. So to be eligible for the Nobel Peace Prize, to be eligible, a person or organization must have done the most or best work in the previous year to promote peace. Again, we're talking about the Nobel Peace Prize, and you see the word to promote peace. To promote peace. Ask anyone who's in an immigrant community or who actually is legally here if the president has been promoting peace. Because some of these roundups that have happened already since he was inaugurated, they have rounded up U.S. citizens just for the fact that they were speaking Spanish. That is a true statement right there. All you got to do is Google it. I have the receipt, but all you got to do is Google it. That is a true statement. A couple of people were rounded up because the ICE agents heard them speaking Spanish. Yes. So again, I ask you, how is he promoting peace? But let's just go back. The criteria is to promote peace, work to build fraternity between nations, reducing standing armies, and promoting peace congresses. Before anybody says, well, he's doing this for Ukraine, no, he's not. No, he's not. Anyone who is not under a rock saw that Oval Office debacle showing that Zelensky was set up and saw exactly what Vice President J.D. Vance and what President Trump did to Zelensky and then kicked him out of the Oval Office. That's exactly what they did. So show me how that is a peace process to end the Ukrainian war. The next criteria is be living. So of course he's living, and to be nominated. Anyone eligible can nominate a candidate. I don't know what the criteria for someone even being eligible to nominate, because I couldn't find that. And honestly, just in the interest of transparency, I didn't look at that. But then the selection process. The Nobel Committee will shortlist the most promising candidates, which you will agree with me that President Donald John Trump is not a promising candidate. He is not. Not at this time, anyway. Advisors prepare reports on the shortlisted candidates. The committee studies the reports and deliberates. The committee narrows the field down to a few candidates. The committee votes by majority to select the laureate, and the laureate is announced and receives the award in December. So, yet again, the House of Representatives Darrell Issa from the state of California, the 48th District in California, wasting taxpayer money and time when he could be doing something else productive for his constituents and the rest of the constituents of the United States. Instead, he thinks that Donald Trump should receive the Nobel Peace Prize. So let's move on to our third spotlight. Now, while this is coming up, when I do this, I'm trying to figure out how to call this, that since I'm spotlighting three people, that my nominees for something, and I have to be careful with this because I do have a business that's starting, and I don't want to hurt my business. But something like this, like Reese Waters has Racist of the Week, MAGA of the Week, Stupid of the Week, or whatever. So I'm trying to figure it out so I can get that in there. So the next person that I'm going to spotlight is a representative from Florida. Her name is Anna Paulina Luna. She is a House of Representative from the state of Florida. Let me see if I can get her picture up here. So you can see who I'm talking about. Yeah, again, the government website is slowing down. There we go. While it's feeding, I'll just bring you up there. So this is Paulina. This is Anna Paulina Luna. She's from the 13th district there in Florida. What she has done, let me see what the date is on this. This was at the end of January. And I think this was in the news, but it's back in the news now. So what she has done is introduced a bill to nominate President Trump to have his figure put on Mount Rushmore. Yes, put on Mount Rushmore. The measure is highly unlikely to pass through Congress, but is another example of the loyalty and adoration of some of the House GOP members show to Trump. What others are calling it, and what I'm actually calling it, is either the ring kissers, as though he is a mafioso or king, or the bootlicking, like he is some military dictator. The bill was introduced by her, who said on X, formerly known as Twitter, that Trump's, quote, remarkable accomplishments for our country and the success he will continue to deliver deserves the highest recognition and honor on this iconic national monument, unquote. But this is not the first time the idea of adding a president to the historic South Dakota Hills has been floated. In 1999, Congress debated and ultimately rejected adding Ronald Reagan to the quartet of Presidents George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. Interesting that two of the people on Mount Rushmore were slave owners. Just thought I'd throw that little nugget out there. Because regardless of whether it's bad history, it's still part of our history. But yeah, she, this is who the 13th district popped up. And so she has nothing else better to do. Not talking about grocery prices, not talking about the tariffs, how they're going to affect American families. And I'm just going to say this. I'm tired of just hearing about American families. This is affecting American families and individuals. I'm not married. I don't have any kids. I took early retirement on Social Security, which makes me a little nervous about that. And so I, as an individual, am also being affected by the stupid tariff war that he's pulled us into. And the House of Representatives, none of these are my House of Representatives. But they have nothing else to do. And since they are not part of the solution, they are part of the problem, and they need to go. Because clearly they don't understand what their job is. And so that concludes my political spotlight for today. Like I said, I haven't finished tidying up what I'm going to say about the speech to the joint sessions of Congress. But we'll be talking about that on another video. So thank you for viewing. Please like, please share, and if you're so inclined, please subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything except maybe 2 seconds and some muscle workout of your fingers moving the mouse to click like and subscribe and share. All right. So thank you for viewing, and we'll see you on the next video.